Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Learn From Us podcast. That was really fast, Paul. I'm on fire today. This is Seth. Oh, as always, my lover, my consigliere, Paul Gabriel.
Hi.
And our esteemed guest for the second time. This is our first double guest.
No, John Dyer was twice.
Oh,
Okay,
man, I thought it was
wow.
special.
This is our first.
But John Dyer lives in Cleveland. Jacob lives in Chicago.
Jacob Salem from Chicago. Salem. Pardonnez-moi. Easy Metrics is your company name?
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, my friend. How are you?
Very excited to be here. Thank you.
Tell me what you're doing with this team here, the Crossroads Group, the Crossroads brand, Paul Gabriel in general. Are you just working on his chess game or his basketball game? What are we doing here?
I do absolutely nothing but take pictures of his new cars, play on his new toys that he gets, hang out in the studio.
What did I say earlier?
And
What did I say?
What did I say earlier, Jacob?
he said I could lead this a little bit.
No, I did not.
And so I'm just...
What have you guys been up to? What do you help Paul and the crew do? What is your specialty for people who've seen you for the first time, your handsome face?
I mean, so far I took a picture of his car, acted like it was mine, and put it on Instagram. I'm just kidding.
That works.
I didn't do that.
Paul's been doing that with his cars.
I definitely didn't do that, and he definitely haven't. Yeah.
I've never done that.
You see, most people want to be rich and famous when they grow up, and so Paul achieved one part of it. He just wanted to be rich. He got it, and so now I'm nonchalantly helping him become famous, even though he doesn't want to be.
I don't want to be famous.
Yeah.
You've said that in the past, so Jacob, you're rather famous. You have the innate ability to fire up your phone.
He's got 1 million Facebook followers.
That's right.
You're just in the airport. You're getting sushi.
Yes.
And you just fire that bitch up and just start talking, and
Yes.
people listen.
That's right.
Paul, you can get there one day, don't you think? Probably. So how'd you two get hooked up again? How did you?
We were recommended to Jacob from Morag
Yep.
in London, in England. We were doing some online sales stuff, and she's like, hey, you should talk to Jacob Salem. And Tim at the time was in charge of that. And so we talked to Jacob, and Jacob did a good job of teaching us Facebook ads to the point where he actually said to us, I don't know if I can teach you enough to justify the fee anymore, which we appreciate that honesty. So what do? We hired him for more stuff.
That's right.
And that's what works.
Been great.
What else you been hiring him for?
Dynasty owner is our main focus right now. But I think in the future, we're going to want to go for more leads for our Mexico houses and other houses we can get around the world, and get some leads for Facebook to get people to rent from us.
How are the signups going for Dynasty Owner?
They're coming along. They're going. We're still trying to figure out how early to the game we are right now. Our wait list of people. Tim, should I have Tim explain this, or maybe Jacob can explain this?
Well, right now we are averaging a cost per lead at $1.79. Average cost per lead.
Is that good or bad?
That's
really good.
We're
That's
getting
really good.
How do you judge the strength of the lead? If
they sign up or not.
Yeah,
Oh.
if they actually pay us.
Okay,
so we're
so-
still working through that system and copy.
That's the
and
thing. We're
adjustment.
getting the leads in at a very low cost, but it's March. So we're wondering how, and the app's not done yet. So we're wondering, we have to wait until until the app is done, and then get closer to the season, right to the rookie draft, and then we'll be able to see, okay, how effective are these leads now? If it's 1 in 10 closing, 1 in 20 closing, 1 in 30, we don't know.
So what, Jacob? What do fans who need help in the Facebook world or the advertising world? They come to you and you assist them doing what? I mean, I know just the term Facebook ads. I even know a little bit about them, and I'm still confused. So, like, what do you do for folks?
So I would say my superpower is Facebook, but I'm a paid media buyer, but also a digital marketer. And so we help with everything from landing pages to email marketing, text message marketing. Actually, today with Tim, we actually built out some text message marketing campaigns. So
you guys did that?
Some of these leads will now be getting text message so it's going to go from Keep to Zapier to Twillo. So now we can do some automated text messaging as well. So we do a little bit of everything. But at the end of the day, I'm a paid media buyer, which means I like running ads and putting an ad right in front of our ideal prospect. And when we do that, we want to get them, show them the right bait, so that way they'll give us their name, their email, their phone number. And so we try to follow the hook, story, offer model to where our bait, which is our hook, matches the story we're going to tell them in our emails and our copy, which also then matches our offer. And when we do that, we will actually get the conversions and ROI that Paul seeks out.
Yes.
Paul with women, he uses bait to get most of his dates. So I'm not surprised he went down this.
That's why he has the nice car. That's why.
I was about to make a really bad joke, but it's the whole Me Too movement. You can't do this kind of stuff anymore.
You ready? Do I bring it up? Yes. I was in a podcast recently, and I said guys and gals. And after the podcast, I was told I can't say gals now. So
Who told you that?
We're no longer allowed.
I mean, there's nobody you would know, but they're actually.
So your actual guest took the time to tell you can't say gals?
I can't say gals.
Was it a female guest?
It was.
Imagine that.
I also said something, Paul, like I try to cover my, again, since you are like, you really analyze what people say and you can remember it, I try to cover my tracks. So like, instead of it's this way, I said, well, I think it's this way, or in my opinion, I felt this in my life. And so
Which, by the way, is still the right way to talk anyhow.
Yeah, I sort of felt something in the photography world. I'd said something that like photography is very motherly. Like, I'm not shocked that females are really great at it. The nerdy camera aspects of it, I said, I'm not surprised that males are drawn to that. And she said that was also bad to say too. So
Jesus Christ.
So my wife agreed with her. So, well, anyway, but now we're running this gamut where I now have to like kind of watch what I have to say. Not that I don't, but it's just like,
we can't even acknowledge that that women tend to be more artsy than technical.
We can't acknowledge it, I guess. I don't know, Paul. I'm trying to adhere.
Well, here's what I think.
To the rules of
liberals are assholes.
Oh, Paul, how dare you.
And so there we go. There's an assumption I'm making right there.
That's what you think. Right. Anyway, Jacob,
No,
I didn't mean to
hijack
hijack the podcast, but I don't know how I got on
just having
that,
a ton of fun, hanging out here.
What do we even talk about? I can't remember. We were talking about bait. I'm sorry, Paul.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit digital marketing, but actually I want to pick Paul's brain on this.
So that's
this
what
episode, if I
Jacob
can.
wanted to do. He wanted to pick the brain of the scam artist.
Yeah, over here. Either
Right
way.
here. No, up here.
You can tighten this.
Oh.
Yeah, you can just tighten that. Sorry, guys. This gorgeous $1 zillion podcast studio is held together with duct tape. So
I don't think that's even duct tape.
much like my schedule.
All right, Jacob.
Go ahead, my friend.
So you guys know a little bit about my business. We're serving business owners, and I've formerly had a full-scale done-for-you agency where we implemented done-for-you marketing for companies. I've transitioned now to be a training company. Over the last 14 months, we've done incredibly well, making a massive transition from just full-scale implementing. We had, at that time, we had 44 clients at the $3,500 bracket. We had other clients at the $10,000 bracket a month. We had a couple clients below, and so I've transitioned. And so I've been full-time in this industry now for 5 years, which full-time for me is 18 hours a day, every day, including Sunday, doing something, pastor to church during that window in there somewhere. And so I don't know if you guys know this about me. I actually built and sold a lawn care company. Was the first company ever built and sold. Did you guys know that?
You told us that in the first podcast.
So I've been,
I forgot already.
way to go, Seth. Appreciate you.
Yep.
well, 140 episodes in, it's understandable.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've done a lot, and I'm still relatively young and definitely
How old
handsome.
are you?
29.
Wow, so young.
Yeah, so I'm feeling it actually
we
a little
have
bit.
a decade on you. Imagine what you're going to do in 10 years.
Yeah.
Especially if I hang out around Paul,
See, that's what I'm
and
saying,
Seth, of
dude.
course.
Well, no,
and,
I'm in the same boat. I see people.
I'm just trying to hope whatever he's got just rubs off on me.
I can only imagine.
I can rub a lot of stuff off on you.
Yeah, no, never mind.
Surrounding people, surrounding myself with Paul, people like my best friend Grant Cardone, who I hung out with last week. We have a picture.
How long was that interaction? Like 3 seconds? You're like, hey, Grant, can I have your picture?
Do you want me to talk about it?
Yeah, I do.
I actually really like Grant Cardone, by the way. I'm sorry.
He's
Don't judge me
such
for that.
a douchebag.
But I love his book 10X and all of his information.
Oh my God! Here's what he does. He goes, "How can I be douchey right now?" Oh, I'll write that down. Go ahead.
So we're in Vegas. I'm like, well, maybe I'll see Grant Cardone. Now,
You thought that ahead of time.
I did. Maybe we'd see him. So a guy like him walked past, and I was like, wow, that really looked like Grant Cardone, but he was really short. And he had like a guy with him in a suit. They're always in like some suit, right?
Yeah, black suit.
Black suit. I was like, wow. And he had the hat, I'm like, oh, that's him. And maybe it's not. I mean, how could it be? Later, see the same. Now it's obviously him. He's kind of like in the middle of Mandalay Bay, signing autographs, taking pictures. I was like, listen, this would be hilarious. I'll send a picture back to the boys.
Oh, it was brilliant.
Yeah. So I walk in, right up to him. Grant, I read your book. Can I get a picture? Sure. Beth takes my picture. Now, of course.
Did you read the book?
10X. Listen to the book. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you were just saying that to get his attention.
So now, of course, Beth is just so bubbly. I've read the book twice. So now Grant says, Beth, would you like a photo? So people are bombarding him to get photos, and all of a sudden he's like, I kind of want a photo with this girl.
Oh, there
so
we
Beth
go.
hands me the phone, and
Can't say girl, by the way, but go ahead.
Beth hands me the phone and jumps in. Now, I don't use her phone. So here it is. She's with this famous star, and I'm just like, people are waiting. Then the bodyguard just literally kind of elbows me out of the way and says, get out of the way, I'll take it, and I'll text it to you. Pictures. I totally shit the bed right in front of Grant Cardone. So I suck. But anyway, Jacob, I cut you off, man. Anyway,
Aren't you like a photographer or something though?
Aren't you like a photographer?
Isn't that?
yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Isn't that?
I actually forgot about that till you reminded me. But yes, you are young, and I can only imagine what you're going to do in the next 10 years. So keep going.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Because I feel like the 30 number for me is like ticking down quick. I just feel some kind of way about it.
Ours is 40. Paul, you're 39 in
30
August?
July.
Okay, keep going, Jacob.
Appreciate you. So I've been able to do some things that I'm pretty proud of, and so I want to talk a little bit about what Paul has done, and then also preface it with kind of where I am, where I've been, where I am, and kind of where I'm thinking about going.
He doesn't like talking about this, so
Yeah, it's cool. So if you think about the cash flow quadrants, which I think
So I don't really know them very well. I didn't read the cash flow quadrant.
So you basically have E is employee, you have S is small business owner, you have B is big business owner. So like, let's say, I think it's 100 employees or more.
Okay.
And then you have investor, right? So you kind of got the 4 different quadrants that, he can kind of place you in. And so I'm strong in the S, the entrepreneur, small business owner, whereas, we do have some systems in play. We peaked at about 13 employees when I had the Done For You company. We've scaled down since then a little bit. But basically where I put myself right now is a very, very high paying job. Whereas if I were to take a year out of the business, it would not be here when I got back.
That's a very admirable statement, because most people would be cocky and say, oh, I run a successful business. It's amazing. It needs me. And he's sitting there saying like, yeah, this isn't good.
Yeah. If I walked away from the business 6 months, well, it might go 3 months without me.
Okay. The whole point is he's very
yeah.
much acknowledging like, I don't like this, correct?
Yeah. No, yeah. I'm a slave to my job. I mean, that's, and we have amazing team right now. The team members we still have are awesome, and they could definitely hang their hat and do what they need to do, and they definitely earn their keep. But if the CEO or whatever title I have, I'm out of luck. And so I still have to, like today's a perfect example. Love being here. Thank you for having me. But my wife, very specifically, let me know I'm traveling a lot. I'm gone every single week in the month of March, and I was gone the last week of February. And so last night I'm getting ready to head out, and I was going to get a hotel out here. And she's like, I haven't really seen you. You can just, stay here for the night and drive in the morning. So this morning I got up at 2:30 Central, 3:30 your time to drive 5.5 hours to get here because the plane didn't work out on the schedule. So like that's still what I do.
Let me slow
that's
down
not
a
like
minute.
that's not like a dream life right there.
Is it just a saying, or I can see, like I can hear it in your voice when you say you're a slave to the job? It's weighing on you.
Yeah, no, that's like a real thing. So now we shifted. Paul actually helped me in the shift because of his deep pockets. So I was.
How much did I charge you for that shift?
Nothing at all.
Okay,
You actually
gotcha.
paid me. So I was getting ready to launch a brand new. I'm
teasing. By the
I'm
way.
like, yeah, no. I'm like super Christian, which totally is cool hanging out with you guys. But like, I love Jesus, right? It's awesome. hanging out.
Paul's a big fan too.
Yeah, big fan. He said it a few times on the. He's already brought him into the conversation.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
So he's
huge fan.
He's already invited. He's already invited them into the conversation. I get it.
Jesus.
But I also, with that, believe that you can speak things into existence, right? And I think some people in the Christian space don't believe in some of the attract side of things. So literally I did a post, ironically, about our podcast. I used a clip from our original podcast together, reaching out for one-on-one coaching accounts where I'm getting paid $500 an hour just to talk to people for an hour via Zoom. And I used our podcast to create an ad about it. And the very next day, Tim reaches out, and long story short, they paid a year in advance. And so I kind of, the very next day, he did. Okay. So basically, I could have went and bought a car or whatever I wanted to buy. And so he's, wire transfers the money. So he's the first. We signed 11 since that day. We've got 11 people at that bracket.
So
now.
I hate to break it to you, but that had nothing to do with your ad for us.
Yeah, you didn't even see the ad. They didn't even see
we
the
were
ad.
Just
had
like,
no idea.
We're like, we need help on this one just in case.
I think that was a universal type thing.
You think the positive mojo?
Yeah, I just think, you can think things, speak things into existence, and you can go out there and work for them. So either way, we've done that. So let me land this plane. I've done really well to create a new division, new mantra, whatever. Not stressed anymore. I really love working with people one-on-one. I love traveling and speaking. Love our mastermind program, which, by the way, you can learn more at easymetrics.com. Easymetrics.com.
Easy as in E as in elephant, Z as in zebra.
Zed.
Zed.
So now that I'm at a point to where I'm not babysitting 13 people, and I'm not constantly dealing with the stress and the burden of clients begging me to get stuff done overnight, and oh no, there's an ASAP request, we got to run this campaign. Now I'm at the point where I want to look into other things, right? And I want to look into whether that's fix and flips, whether that's rental properties, whether that's investing into stocks, whether that's learning covered calls, or
Buying a business?
Maybe buying businesses. Looking at what else can we do, because over the last few years, some of the years were profitable, and I'm pretty proud of them, and some of them weren't. But we're finally at a point where I feel like we balanced a little bit. And so now I wanted to pick Paul's brain a little bit, and I think you've been trading since you were 13.
I've been investing. I've never traded.
Okay, help me. Okay, I'm a newbie.
What's your next question?
What's the difference?
So it's a great question to ask because nobody really knows the difference. People always think that trading is investing, and it's not. Investing is understanding how you're going to put money to work and how you're going to get a reasonable return on your money. Trading, and based on fundamentals. Like, for example, if I buy a company, a stock, I'm buying it based on financial statements, based on looking at the numbers, understanding where the risk is in terms of overpaying, underpaying, etc. Trading is not caring about any of that, just buying it because it's cool or it's short term or something like that. That's speculation.
We had a whole podcast about this because I actually considered myself, of my group of friends, one of the more knowledgeable ones.
Astute.
When it comes to retirement savings and stocks. And then I come to find out that I was just buying stocks on what I thought was fun and cute to have without looking at any business style facts or analytics at all.
And I very much believe that it's fine to do that with a portion of your money, but I think at one point you had like 70% of your net worth in Amazon and Tesla and Bitcoin. And I was just like, not because of any other reason than they went up a lot for you.
Yeah.
But the difference is big on, when people say they're investing their money, I hear people who save a lot of money as investors. If you dollar cost average, just buy every month, no matter what, that's not investing, that's saving. Investing is the understanding of how you're going to make a return and get your money back and then some. Speculating and trading is more the day-to-day stuff or short-term, like, hey, I'm going to buy this because I think it's going to pop because of X, Y, and Z, but it's not based on, hey, the cash flow of the company is this. That's all long-term oriented. Like, my methodology takes years and years sometimes to play out. The trading can happen very quickly. There's a huge difference between the two because people will mask it as, oh, look, I'm investing my money. Oh, I made a mistake. But it's like, you're not investing. It's kind of like, the way I look at it is if you put money towards ads and had no idea which ones worked, what your cost per lead was, et cetera, but you just knew at the end of the day, sometimes it works, you make more money, sometimes it doesn't. That's trading, that's speculation. You understanding, okay, I'm going to start with these 10 ads. I'm going to drop the worst 7, go get these new 3, get new variations. That's kind of like investing, understanding what causes these things, picking the right markets, et cetera, picking the right demographics, et cetera. If that makes sense in the analogy of marketing.
Yeah, of course.
And that's a big difference. And most people do, 99.5% of people do trading and speculating, and very few people actually do investing, but they always confuse it. Just because somebody saves every month doesn't make them an investor. Just because somebody puts money into something doesn't make them an investor.
Okay.
So, Jacob, you were saying you're entering a sort of a life transition, which I think Paul has come through many times, where once your business is up and running, you're looking for new things to fill your time.
Yeah, just kind of looking at what other options are out there. I mean, I feel like we just made it through a storm where, 2019 was significantly lower than 2018. But now the projection for
lower revenue, you're saying?
Lower, yeah, gross revenue and
the good news is a lot of it was by choice because he was working. Explain how you were working before.
Yeah, so we had grown a business exponentially more than I could ever ask or imagine. There's some scripture for you there, and it grew too fast.
I just want to make note that I heard in 2018 that God came down and said, "Hey, kids in Africa who are dying, I don't care about you. I'm going to go help Jacob in his business."
I assume you were referring to the Quran when you mentioned scripture, so I'm even more confused.
I love that Paul is the at the education level where he understands all of the everything from all the different whatever, and he can use them and twist them in any way.
Go ahead.
I would say, listen. We're gonna listen, Paul. We have to pump the brakes because we can't just start bringing up religious jokes.
Oh, every FYI to everybody, this podcast has become very political very soon. I'm getting sick of it. So, anyways, Jacob, go ahead.
More political?
Yeah. I have absolutely no clue where I was going. What was it? Oh, the business. So it I just wasn't happy. I was, we had a lot of clients, we had a lot of team. I was doing a lot of babysitting, a lot of stress,
a lot of traveling,
a lot of anxiety.
What are you drawn to now?
The teaching side of things. I mean, this is why I even like being here. The business we built now. Did I say business? Business we built now is all around education and training and teaching, and we have 2 different tiers that we had when I was here last time, $197 and now $2,000 a month. And at those brackets, I can maintain them without stress. I set the boundaries. I know how to fulfill, so it's not stressful.
And can I make a personal testament to you? Watching Jacob on Facebook running Facebook ads is unbelievable. I mean, there's no question you know exactly what you're doing. Don and Tim, I consider them borderline experts now. I mean, in terms of your training and things like that. Don's shaking his head no, which I like a lot. Don's not accepting the fact that he's
Thank you, Don, for the job security. I really appreciate it.
No, it's what was that?
I was asking Don, what do you think? How's the training going?
No. I'm saying I don't like the word expert. I don't like saying that.
Yeah,
But Don's still learning. Don's still learning. He spends a lot of time learning. But when I need an ad placed, I know Don's going to do it right and Tim's going to do it right
Yeah.
because of Jacob's tutelage.
Very grateful for that testimony. Thank you.
Well, no problem.
I mentioned
I get 10% of all proceeds.
We're going to get right back to you, but the idea of Facebook marketing has taken the photography industry by storm.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. Like, no, the idea of advertising was non-existent besides like the Knot, or I'm sure you've heard of the Knot, or
Of course.
Wedding Wire.
Yeah, and now just Facebook ads is just like everybody's just saying, I ran one ad and got 70K worth of bookings. It's bonkers.
Yeah.
And Beth is dying to learn this stuff. I think she would be very good, taking over the reins of that. So,
Well, she might be good for the $197 a month plan.
Yeah, teaches everything. We're also putting in new courses, especially with your new TV. I'm going to come here weekly and use it.
He's going to drive to Cleveland every week.
great.
The cost of gas, you might as well just buy a TV in 3 months.
I actually really am probably going to buy the 55-inch version of that, so I can sit on my little.
Can I tell you something? I think the 65 versus 55 was like $300 difference.
Yeah. So, I only want it because the 55 comes with the stand, and I already got a place for it.
Oh.
Where it could fit.
We got a
in
new.
my studio.
It's not called a jam board, but it's like a
flipboard.
Flipboard, like a huge iPad for the studio. So Paul's
It's
going to
incredible.
Paul's going to start doing like
Teaching stuff.
hands-on numbers.
Yeah, when we talk about numbers and things like that, we're going to do it. But
yeah. Keep going, Jake.
way.
So,
Yeah.
So I was saying what you're drawn to, the education level. So, Paul was very proud of me because I haven't, I'm going to come right back to you, but I haven't been outwardly advertising that I mentor. But if someone asks me how I did this, I do have a program developed how I can turn around people. Nice. And Paul, it's going astoundingly well.
Good.
Like maybe my second or third mentorship, but really the one where I charge those kind of numbers.
Yeah.
And it's going astoundingly
And
well.
that came completely by accident. Like, we didn't even try on that one.
No.
It was literally people saying, Seth, would you teach me? He's like, yeah, it's going to be 10 grand or whatever the number is.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, sounds good.
Yeah, so I developed like a 12-week program of how to get through, and it's progressing so quickly. I mean, go back to you. Tell me about what you're thinking.
Well, either way, I mean, I built a company now that I'm proud of that's actually profitable, and knock on wood, as long as we just keep doing what we're doing, it's going to stay profitable and increase. I mean, we're trying to hit a number you asked me over lunch, but I was hungry and wasn't thinking. We still want 250 members at the 197 bracket. That's still our goal. We keep hitting a 100 member ceiling where there's always some churn in there, and so we've kind of been at a 100 plateau. So we'll get.
You said you went 250?
Yeah, 250 is kind of the goal. It's been the goal since I launched it, and so we're shooting for that. We got 11 people came into the coaching bracket. He's doing
50,000, bro.
Yeah. Yep. And so that's just, reoccurring to have someone have access to our training portal, 4 events a year they get to come to. And I do a live training every month with them. But I really enjoy that program.
Will you go back and tell me about what you just said? You said they get access to the portals and live training?
I mean, I don't really want to go into a big sales pitch on that. But basically they get I'm down. So whatever. They get access. We have a room in the John Hancock Center, downtown Chicago, where we invite everybody come out for a 2-day event, everybody who's an active member, and we do actually hands-on training where it's actually implementing and building with them for them.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
So that's included, as well as a monthly Zoom call where I do with the entire group for open Q&A. Access to private Facebook group. We got about 133 people in that group between businesses and team members of those businesses.
Try this with you.
And but yeah, so we did try that. He wouldn't.
I do not self-promote.
Yeah, he also doesn't like it. Well, either way, we don't need to go into all the metrics of
sure.
But either way,
Paul's failures in life.
No. It's been good. But now that we have this going, I'm looking at, okay, well, where is this going to be in 10 years, right? And I don't know how long is this Facebook bubble going to be going, and when's TikTok going to take over? And
you'll adapt when that happens,
right? Well, I can also have other things set up. I could have some rental properties or I'm really interested in learning more about multifamily or even stock market, and I've read up a little bit about cover called. So you're saying instantly, if you had a choice, if you were in, let's say you were in my shoes, right, and I'm paying you your $20,000 an hour, which you're totally worth, what would the advice be? Knowing you know the numbers. I'd shared real numbers, and I don't feel like sharing them here. But
we asked for full disclosure here.
I'm sorry, my microphone doesn't work right now.
Yeah,
Jacob, before he answers, let me come at this from a dummy position because I've learned a lot here. So, you're more drawn to the mentorship. You keep mentioning real estate. Would you want to get into ownership of a multi-unit, 4-unit?
Yeah, I look at that. I've already looked at some. So you can get, a 4 or 6 unit,
Would you be hands-on with that or worry about or try and get some management? Would you have all the money yourself or would you need partner investors?
Look at Seth.
Yeah, so that's
my little boy's growing up.
Yeah, so those are the questions I'm bringing to the table.
Somebody brings a tie on and all of a sudden we're geniuses over here.
Yeah, because anyway, I like to hear what Paul says, but I was also, I've been looking, and I'm bringing Paul a deal of the week from Cleveland that I found, and so but now after a year I've been able to look at this a little bit more clearly. So anyway, Paul, and maybe talk to him about, ask him the questions that I was trying to ask him.
It's funny when he said that, I was like, beforehand I was like, okay, well, what's your goal here? If your goal is to grow this thing, yeah, you have to have your money. You're generating cash flow. You're generating a good amount of positive cash flow, tens of thousands a month.
Yep.
And I look at that saying, okay, that's a pretty good chunk of money. You pay yourself a salary and you still have tens of thousands a month extra in cash flow. Okay. Yep. Your first thing should be, let me invest back in myself and my business, first and foremost. Does that mean you ignore the other ones? No. Take advantage of your Roth IRA, your tax deductible things. And you want to buy a rental property, I would just say you're in a perfect time because you want to grow your business, and rental properties are very difficult right now. They're very, very expensive. We can talk about how I can help you with those things, but I will say buying rental properties is a great way, especially with your extra income. You'll be able to get good tax benefits from be able to depreciate your properties and things like that. The question is should you have them? Yes. But should you have them if you're just going to go haphazardly, just buying everything? Well, no. Do you do any saving whatsoever? Like, do you put anything towards a Roth IRA or anything like that?
I do not know, sir.
So what do you do with your extra cash? You just put it in a bank account?
Yeah, pay a lot of taxes on it.
Yeah, but there's still extra cash. So you just stick your money in a bank account?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So you don't do the Roth IRA, $5,000 government?
Nothing. No. So
have you ever done it?
No, sir.
Okay.
What's the serve business?
Well, Paul,
I'm learning, so I'm servant right now.
He's opening up like a flower, and I get this way when I know where you're coming from, Jacob, because I
hope it doesn't come around as a barrage.
The last podcast we had was about atomic habits, and if you rewatch it, it's just you grilling me on like
what's funny? What's funny?
Making my bed to like my daily activities.
What's funny? Somebody texted me and said Seth looks very uncomfortable. I'm sorry about that. Are you uncomfortable right now, Jacob?
No, he's opening up, and so he's you have to take a little bit of a barrage, but I don't think this is a rare case. I have plenty of friends, the quote unquote successful in this world, that aren't saving at least
correct
the minimum we're allowed.
Yeah.
I'm not doing much more than that, Paul. So I do the 6,000 we're allowed per person, person, and I started when I was your age. And I now have about 350,000 saved. So at least maybe I was saving a little more earlier, but that's like my retirement at the moment. That's basically it.
Okay.
So but at least he's not asking this when he's my age.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the first thing I would do is do those tax deductible Roth IRA, because you can get you talk about complaining about I got to pay taxes.
Yeah.
They let you just.
I paid high.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Yeah,
right? So you can do these things that help you, and I don't know what the income limits are on those ones, but. Your first, what we do here, we pay ourselves a salary. I actually put myself on my dad's payroll because I didn't have 401k. So I told my dad, if I'm allowed $17,500, you're going to pay me $17,500 a year, and that's all going to go towards 401k. But here, every single dollar of profit above what we pay ourselves goes right back into the business. Because our comment is, we know ourselves the most. You know your returns. Are you going to be able to get a better return from investing in yourself or investing in a piece of real estate?
Right now, I believe I can do it by investing in myself, truthfully.
100% you can.
Yeah,
I would agree with that completely. I mean, a good return in real estate would be 15%, 20%. You're going to get way more than that in your own money. Now, does that mean you don't at some point stop and say, okay, I'm making plenty of money? Does that mean you don't get yourself in the habit still of investing on the side? No, you still should. Even if it's $1,000 a month that you're putting in this IRA, whatever you can do, even if it's $2,000 a month, $1,000 in the IRA, $1,000 in a separate account, you have plenty of money to cover it. It gets you in the habit of doing that. And you put it away, you don't think about it, you dollar cost average, buying your low cost funds, and all of a sudden you wake up 10, 20 years from now, you're like, oh, wow, this has been a lot of money.
Let's backtrack a smidge.
Yes.
Have you not heard, maybe I'm wondering the reason you haven't saved, have you not had the extra income to save even something minimal like that, or you just are not into it, or you don't know? I'm just wondering, because there's a lot of people, I have friends that are like you, and you're here, so I can ask you.
The last 5 years on this business, I am the CEO of the company, quote unquote, but what I am is I'm really good at sales. And so my whole mantra, my whole life has been, I can just go close another sale, buy what I want, go close another sale. And so I've always just done that. That's why we've done well, is because I've been really good at sales. Mm-hmm. And then we've hired sales staff and stuff like that. So I just always knew, go make more money. And it's the only thing I've ever done. Oh, I need money. Great. I can go make more money.
But you were telling me positive cash flow numbers before that mean you're making more than you're even spending.
Right now, we've finally established it to a point to where 5 years into this thing, I got a really high paying job. I'm pretty proud of myself. You know,
Why not?
You know, my wife, and when we talk about salary, my wife and I, we've had this same salary for the last 3 years. I've been able to guarantee it to her, and I pay her at the first of it because she doesn't work. She does work. She's a stay-at-home mom, 2 kids, and
Good
she takes care of
save.
me.
Good save.
That is full time. But you know, she knows what her budget is. Here, I'm going to give this to you on the first of every single month, and I've been able to do that. No matter through the highs and lows, I've been able to do that. Now the business, like you said, is we're at I'll say we're about 20,000 profit every single month after I pay the team, after I pay the light bill, after I pay
Everything.
Facebook ads.
Nice.
And this after he reduced his.
We did to get rid of some team members, and we've gone
What
through a
about
lot of
even
things.
your revenue?
And clients.
Yeah,
I
your
cut my
revenue has cut in half.
I cut my revenue in half from 2018.
Which I think is that's a very tough thing for people to do when you realize I'm not happy, I'm not at home, I'm running around with my head cut off. I need to take a step back here. I need to make less money, but go be happier, which is a very important thing in life, which we talk about that all the time here, but how many people are able to go give up half the revenue in their company?
That might have been the last company I worked for with the guy who flew around. He flew 220 trips a year, 220 flights a year.
Yeah.
And missed basically his first 2 years of his kid's life.
Yeah.
And maybe that led to everything sort of coming.
Well, kids in the first 2 years are kind of rats. Yeah. I mean, it's not really a big deal.
So I still, okay. I want to get down to very again, I'm here to ask the dumb question.
Well, here's the dumb question I have. It's not a dumb question. He mentioned earlier about being a small business owner, basically a glorified job, right?
Yep.
In order to go do the other things, you need to get the structure in place where you become. I don't like the term big business from the standpoint of number of employees. I think that's a bunch of garbage.
Yeah.
That's just the legal term for it. Great, congratulations. To me, the business side, you own a business when it doesn't need you anymore.
Right. That's right.
If it needs you, you're basically
Where I'm at. Yeah. I
Yeah.
get it. Glorified job.
whatever it is, right? So you need to get yourself in a place where the systems can work themselves. Doesn't mean you walk away, but it means you do what I do now, which is you find the right people, put them in place. How many times do you text me? I say, ask Don, ask Tim. I don't know why you still text me.
Just yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know why you text me these questions, but the whole point is I don't want to know the answer, and I'm really proud that I can sit there and say whatever they said, I trust.
So let me help you maybe better understand my situation. So we have 11 people right now at the $2,000 a month bracket, right? They are only paying for Jacob Salem's time. So Jacob Salem is getting paid $500 an hour to talk to him, but I'm the one that's talking to them. And so I would have to maybe hire coaches to fulfill that role, and I have zero desire to do that.
Why do you have zero desire?
Let's look at, so the last 5 years, I've probably hired and fired, 60 people. And maybe that's not a strength of mine.
That many, huh?
But a lot. I don't know what the number is. I just know it's high. And that's hard, especially when you have the heart, I guess, not saying other people don't.
Are you going to pat yourself on the back here,
No,
Jacob?
I was just going to say it's a pastor. So I always look for the good in everybody, and I'm always waiting to the absolute very last straw before I fire you. And so I drag somebody along hoping that they'll pick themselves back up. And so I just don't want to keep doing that. So maybe I have a flaw in my hiring process, of course, too, at least for this business. And so, maybe.
Well, I asked you earlier at lunch about your goals. You're like, Paul, I haven't even thought about it.
Yeah, I mean,
why do you want to have a business? Why don't you want to just continue being this way and have people pay for your time? Because I'll tell you right now, if a downturn occurred, you'll probably be pretty okay then.
I think I would. Yeah, I think we've, because we've added on other means, right? I don't think social media is ever going anywhere. I don't think marketing is ever going anywhere. I don't think the concepts we've learned are going anywhere.
The mediums might change.
But for me, the idea of real, because I have, the 197s is real passive income, minus the fact that I host 4 events a year, which I enjoy doing. I really enjoy doing those. And I do a Zoom call every month with them, which I enjoy doing. So other than that, it's completely passive. I don't have to do anything. And so that's good. So there's passive income there, and I can invest. Let's just say it costs $200 to acquire a $200 a month account. Well, on month 2, I'm going to make money. Let's say it even cost me $600. Well, great. After a couple months, I'm going to make that money back. 3, right? Yeah. And so on, month 4, I'm now profitable. That, to me, in my mind, I'm looking at rental properties, and I'm like, okay, cool. So either I'm going to buy this house at, let's just say it's a $150,000 house. I'm either going to buy it, and now I'm going to have X years before it pays for itself, or I'm going to take out a mortgage, and then my renter is going to pay the mortgage, but it's still going to take X time before I'm actually making profit on this thing. Whereas with my info business, I can make profit a little faster, but is that going to sustain the test of time?
Let me correct you real quick.
Okay, help me.
You're making profit on day 1 just because you haven't paid back your original investment. On your business, for your 197, you have a cost of, let's say it is $600. That is a cost. It's gone. You cannot get that back.
Right.
When you buy a piece of real estate, you're putting a down payment on there. Theoretically, if you buy it right, if you sell it the next day, you're still going to get the down payment back.
Okay.
So you don't really have a cost there. You have an investment in there. The investment term, yes, you invested $600 to get a user.
But I paid that.
Right. Well, you paid it in both situations. You paid a down payment, but that $600 is
You're
gone.
never getting it back.
Never getting it back.
You're right.
Unless you get the person. With a piece of real estate, when you buy your house and put 20% down, theoretically, if you sell it 2 years from now and you break even, you still get your 20% down back and whatever equity you put into it. So I don't, when I hear people say like, oh, it takes you 10 years to get your money back. I'm like, no, it takes you 10 years before you're essentially playing with the house's money. I get that idea, but it's just like buying a stock. I mean, that's the whole point of investing. If you understand what you're buying, then it'll always be in the positive and you'll grow it and the cash flow will come in there as a return on your investment. The $600 you're spending is gone. Bye-bye. See you later. The second it's spent, if that person doesn't sign up for 3 months, you lost.
Yeah.
Not the same in real estate. If you're buying it the right way, it can still happen in real estate and stocks if you don't buy it the right way. And that's what I can help you with.
What's the point of saying that, Paul? You saying it's just incredibly more powerful to get into real estate?
Yes, but your return's going to be lower because of how powerful that is, because of how that security is still there and it's a tangible item. That you should get a huge return on that $600 because of the fact that it's not a tangible item.
Okay, so let me pick your brain even further, and you can steer me in the right direction. So let's say now I'm getting into all of this stuff is new to me. I mean, I've read books and I've read Robert Kiyosaki's books, and I've been in the area because I've had clients in real estate over the last 5 years. A lot of my clients have come from, I built this course on how to fix and flip, and I built all these courses, right? Yeah. So I helped them build their course, but I never really digested the information. I just helped them build and sell it.
Right.
So we have an S Corp and I have an LLC. So if I'm going to go get into real estate, do I go get another LLC? And that's where this.
So that's a tax question I'd ask an accountant. All of my real estate is in LLCs.
I like how we preface that. So basically,
well, yeah, I mean,
the answer is LLC, but I'm not going to tell you that.
Well, I mean, I'm just telling you what we do.
Or do I put it under Easy Metrics LLC because that's already got established credit, and I could probably go to the bank.
Okay, then somebody trips and falls and
now that's closed. Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, you should get proper insurance, cover yourself properly. Talk to Mitch Fleming at State Farm. I just don't.
True.
I believe in putting every property in a separate LLC. And if you're
buying, every property in a separate LLC.
If you're buying one house at a time, don't put them in multiple ones in one LLC. But if you're buying an apartment building, let's say a 10 unit, put it in a separate LLC. You have one master LLC that owns all of them, in my opinion. Again, talk to your tax and legal advisors. But what we do is we have one master LLC that owns all the LLCs underneath them.
Learn from us podcast, not responsible for anything.
If you lose your ass because somebody trips and falls, then don't sue us.
Not responsible for any of the misdeeds. Okay.
S Corp, we have one S Corp and it's for a specific business because of the tax. It generates a lot of cash flow because of the tax, something or other, blah, 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 blah.
So see, I have an S Corp, but I only started the S Corp because I thought I was supposed to, and I have no clue how to use it. And then I run everything through.
Talk to an accountant. I really don't know that. No, I really don't know that. I don't. All of a sudden, one day my brother comes in and says, "Hey, we're changing this to an S Corp." I'm like, "Okay."
Okay, cool.
So Paul, maybe I can act as you. Paul, tell me why that maybe for me buying a rental property was not an idea, but you sort of sprung to life when I bought my new business. What did you?
You bought a business?
Well, here's the deal. I didn't spring to life. I sprung to life because all of a sudden it was, "Hey, Paul, I'm looking at a business." "Oh, what do you mean you're looking at it?" "Well, we're in contract." I'm like, "Oh, okay." There's no going back now.
I guess. Well, yeah, there kind of was, but
it's a time constraint. I looked at Seth and said, "Seth, you're always saying how busy you are, but yet you're bringing on more. Either you're not really that busy, you need to focus yourself on getting things done."
That's true.
And the same thing with you. If you're really working on this easy metrics and you want to get to 200 people, focus on that. Okay. Save your money on the side. Do save it. Put it aside. Put an account you never ever touch. Even I have accounts I never ever touch. Okay. I just put the money away and that's that. Give yourself a little. What I believe in is you're making enough cash flow now where I'd do do you have a budget with your wife?
Well, that's
a no. So what you need to do is, listen, I'm just going to, I look at that.
She gets her salary and that's,
that's your budget?
That's the budget. And then if
do you guys live comfortably out of that?
Yes, very comfortably.
Okay. So that's what we do. My brother and I pay ourselves a salary that I live fabulously comfortable off of.
I saw. Yeah.
I saw. We went to his house
today. Yes, and saw a beautiful, beautiful
Lord,
car.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he lives in the type of house.
Which one?
Yeah, right. He lives in the type of house. When I was a kid, my dad owns a lawn sprinkler company.
Yeah.
Right.
We would do the lawn sprinklers at houses like that, and I used to always wonder.
You take a dump on the doorstep.
No, I used to always wonder, like, how?
Do you want that house one day?
That's no. No. I'm assuming he pays someone to clean it, but that is too big. Like
too big.
Massive.
Anyhow,
because you asked what he wants.
Yes, but I meant so.
Like I wanted a house like that. I mean, maybe not that big, but I wanted a house.
I think
of
the
that
word I'm looking
stature.
for would be security. Because
Okay.
okay, cool, we're making
Good.
money. But
So you're being honest with me. You say to me, every month you give your wife a check.
Yep.
And you guys live very comfortably off
Yes.
that. So you don't need the extra tens of thousands you make.
No.
Great. So my recommendation to you is you take that $20,000 a month.
Okay.
You put half towards taxes.
Cool.
It's probably not going to be, it's not going to be half, but it's going to be a big chunk. The rest of the money, put a separate account for your taxes. Call it $8,000 a month for your taxes.
Okay.
The other $12,000, I would decide what you want to start saving for in terms of investments and put them towards that.
Okay.
But a big chunk of that extra money, I'd put it towards the business.
Right back in. So like I just
Right back in.
told you
$6,000 a month.
throwing a webinar this week. We're putting 5,000 into a webinar this week just to.
I would
see
go
what happens.
back and say to everybody, guys, we have $6,000 a month to spend on extra advertising. We need to be generating X amount of dollars a month extra off that $6,000.
Cool.
That's what I would do.
What if, going back to what you want is, what if he's not into growing that business and maybe he likes like what you do, get into your
Well, he
hands
said
and-
already he wants to get to 200 people. On
Yeah,
his,
that's the goal,
course,
which
sorry.
brings in 49
So-
whatever reoccurring.
When we ask him questions before, you gotta. Where's your notepad?
See, I'm lost without it. No, I mean,
And if he gets to the point where he goes, I don't like this, great. Then we'll discuss. If he's like, Paul, I'm making $50,000 a month in positive cash flow, and I love life, but my business is at where I'm at. I want to start getting into real estate. Let's talk. But the thing I'll tell you is, Jacob, get ready to do real estate. I don't want you to do real estate where you ask somebody else to manage it for you. I want you to learn it and then find somebody to manage it for you.
how much money does he need to be ready for a real estate?
I don't know what kind of real estate. Well, you're in the suburbs of Chicago. It's pretty expensive there.
Not really. I mean, so if you, I don't know, I guess what expensive
Let's
is.
hear what you've looked at.
But yeah, so if you look at like a 4-unit apartment or 6-unit, you can find them anywhere from 350 to 500,000. And to me, that sounds relatively
I was looking at a
inexpensive.
Cleveland duplex for $28,000.
That's in East Cleveland, though, right?
Well,
But
that's
still,
Okay.
I mean,
I would say to you, hey, have fun going and running that place.
Yeah, that sounds rough.
East Cleveland's not. It makes
To
Flint,
me, that-
it makes like Flint look like he's from Flint. So
Yeah,
that's why I bring it up.
yeah.
I don't.
That sounds like a lot of money to me, bro.
It is a lot of money. I don't know what the rents are. What are the rents on those each unit?
I don't know, 15 to 1,800 a month.
Oh, that's not terrible. Wow.
Mine was 600.
Yeah.
So that would be. I mean that, and I was just looking on LoopNet or wherever.
Oh, LoopNet, yes.
I was just tire kicking.
So he needs basically to buy one of those properties between 70 and 120,000 to invest in one of those deals.
That's how much I had when I recently bought my business with a partner. But we bought the business for $47,000.
Okay. So you're essentially saying, so if I'm hearing your advice to me correctly, which by the way, I'm going to adhere to that. You're saying, Jake, right now, be happy where you are, double down, put money back into your business, grow that to the scale that you've already written down when you first set it out. When you get there, then maybe circle back to, because I'll probably get there in 12 months. Or
So,
less.
a lot of people say diversify. That's a very common theme. You got to diversify. You got to diversify. I get it.
Yeah.
But diversification is for people who don't know what they're doing. Diversification is for, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm going to spread myself in a lot of places because overall I'll do better.
Okay.
You know what you're doing in easy metrics.
That's right.
I'm not telling you not to have a cushion at some point, but go take that positive cash flow, take it for a spin.
Yeah.
Go take it and do it in something. Spend your budget's $6,000 a month, theoretically. Say, guys, we're going to go invest $6,000. I want that next month, that $6,000 yields me $10,000 more in revenue.
Yeah.
Would that be a great return?
Yeah.
How will
that'd be great if I just got the 6,000 back. So we spend 6,000, we got 6,000 now in reoccurring revenue. So that would, that's more than possible.
that's
That's either 3 coaching accounts, which it's more
So
hours.
do the math there. If every single month you were able to do that, by the end of the year, you have $72,000 a month in extra cash flow.
Yeah.
How is Easy Metrics, say an economic downturn occurs? This is something that
He's never experienced an economic downturn.
this is what we're
2009.
You weren't around 2009.
Yeah, I was 19. So what I was doing then is I was capitalizing on cleaning out the foreclosures.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, for the easy metrics, you weren't
Oh,
around.
yeah. Easy metrics. You're right. Wasn't here for that.
Well, regardless, at least he's
Yeah,
aware
you're
of
right.
it. At
Yeah,
least
yeah.
he's aware of it. I mean, how does that business? Could you possibly foresee what might happen when there might not be as many people looking to advertise?
No, because I don't think that's ever going to go away. There's always going to be the Pauls of the world. There's always going to be people that have already prepared for things like that.
And the other thing is
there's
that
always
maybe
gonna
it
be
costs him
businesses.
more to get a client, but he'll get the clients. Actually,
Yeah.
it might even cost him less. Maybe I always tell people
I would lean into
a
it.
good recession cleans out the garbage, cleans out the people who don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right? So if Jacob knows what he's doing, hopefully, and the other people who are hacks don't, it weeds them out. We talk about
Yeah.
the Grant Cardones, the Cody Spurbers, things like that. Those guys are all hack losers, in my opinion.
With 2 private jets, and it's cool.
Listen, sales is
Loser.
great. There's a difference between investing and sales. Grant Cardone's a phenomenal salesperson.
That's right.
When I hear the guy talk about investing, I just go, oh my God, this guy is a moron. That's just a fact. This guy's, it's just to me, anyways. A good recession will get rid. Why are you laughing?
Oh, because I remember the videos of him like, look at all these deals. I'm buying $1 million deals. It's like the height of the market. It's like,
I mean, he's just like, oh, look, I made a kill on this. Like, yeah, the market did that for you. Great job. Like, he never could explain what he did to the units. Or if it was like, I painted these. I'm like, if you think that painting a unit is going to get you more money because of you have you seriously don't understand. The 6% versus 0. We talked about that today at lunch. 6% better than 0. No, it is not. And everybody thinks that. And that's why everybody's going to lose a lot of money at some point here in the near future. Because 6% isn't necessarily always better than 0. Mm-hmm. That's it.
You'd rather have the...
No, I don't know. You have to, what are you buying to get 6%? What are you not buying to get 0? If you're buying a very expensive piece of real estate that isn't justifiable, you're getting 6%, but you're putting it in, instead of putting 0% in a bank account, what if that all of a sudden goes down? You all of a sudden lost money instead of making 6%. What were you saying?
Just more questions.
Oh, go ahead.
I like these mentor sessions. I'm glad that I'm getting this for free. And
yeah, I know. I'm like, what the hell? No, I think that I don't think you should not invest in other things. I just think you're good at what you do. You've figured out how you want to do it.
And it's working.
And it's working. Like before, you're like, oh, I just want to be as big as I built a 7-figure business. And then you're like, boy, but my life is miserable.
Yeah, this sucks.
Yeah. Okay. You're still young. Take a step back. Now you're still making, you're like, at lunch today, you're talking about like the world's coming to an end essentially. And I'm like, well, so how you doing? Like, oh yeah, I'm making like, I'm like, 20,000 a month doesn't sound like the world's coming to an end here.
No,
like,
we recovered.
That's why I'm like,
that's the aftermath.
I know, but it's funny to me. It's like, you know, I've been involved in a real estate deal where I was suing an insurance company, losing $83,000 a month because the insurance company's not paying. We have fire. Went from 90% occupancy down to 25%.
Did he just say he was losing $83,000?
$83,000 a month on one property because of a fire, and I sued the insurance guy. The lawsuit took 7 years. It just got settled this year, and we made a little bit of money on the lawsuit. A little bit.
Fair enough.
So that's my whole point. It's like, and I remember being at the end of my driveway in tears because nobody would listen to me. Because the insurance company's not listening, property managers aren't listening, lawyers aren't listening. I remember being at the end of my driveway and just started crying. And ask Andrew, he'll verify it. I threw my cell phone in my office, walked downstairs, went to the end of my driveway, sat on the ground and just cried. So I'm sitting there saying it from the standpoint of, okay, you rebounded. Great, this is awesome. Now you're at a place where you're like, okay, I live very comfortably off this money. I've got couple tens of thousands coming in. Let me go pay my taxes, and I have $12,000 a month left over. What do I need to do? Okay, let me go take that for a spin. Do you think you can invest $6,000 and get your $6,000 back in month one?
Every single month.
Then why the fuck wouldn't you do it more? Jesus Christ!
That's why we're doing it.
That's small business mentality, Jacob. That's small business mentality.
That's why I'm on this podcast, learning from this podcast. By the way, Paul.
How do you get people in your business to be able to do what you do?
That's like every
small
business owner, right?
So I'm from Flint, Michigan.
From a butcher to a
So I'm from Flint, Michigan, and in Flint,
where
Michigan,
I lived for a couple of years, by the way. Everybody doesn't remember this. 1984, 1985.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So everything is sex, drugs, and alcohol in that area. And so what happens with drug dealers is when you become a drug dealer or when you start dealing for somebody else, eventually you learn the system on how you can get your own drugs, and eventually you go off and do your own thing, and you go now become your own drug dealer. You're no longer working under someone else. And
so you're worried somebody's going to do that?
I'm not worried. It's happened to me 3 times.
Yeah.
Maybe I need a better non-compete, but I wouldn't go after them anyway. So like you bring someone in, you teach them how to run Facebook ads and Google ads and write copy and build websites, and guess what? They go out and they write copy and do Facebook ads and build websites and go do it on their own, which is I love those guys to death, and I'm more power to them, and it is what it is. So it's now been a repeat, and so I have a glorified consulting business, and I really enjoy it, and yeah.
All right.
It's funny to hear Paul be vulnerable. Like.
How am I vulnerable?
Like when you said that really crushed you, the insurance.
I think that was the most powerful story I've ever heard him tell, by the way.
I mean.
Oh, listen, the joke in my group chat is, Paul, when was the last time you cried? I cry all the time. I used to cry every week.
I mean, the funny part is someone just shoveled his driveway that he walked down and started crying. I took the
$100 bills and wiped my tears with them and blew my nose with them. Listen, by the way, it was a nice sunny summer day, but I say it because I'm sick of everybody acting like the Grant Cardones of the world saying, everything I touch is mine. It's like, no, things happen to everyone. Yeah. I've never met a successful person who doesn't talk about that. It's just, I've had very tough moments of losing. I remember us like high five. I literally remember Andrew and I going, we saw the bottom because we lost 75,000 instead of 83 one month. I was like, we saw the bottom. Oh. Cause I knew it was the bottom too. Like we had other months where we lost 60, we lost 55, no, down to 65. But because we knew the things were like, yep, we hit bottom. And to me, hitting bottom, I don't care if I'm losing 75 a month. I'm not losing 83. I know next month's gonna be 65, not, you know what I mean?
So April, which was also tax month of 2019, we were negative 16.5 that month, and I was like, to me, I died. So then I hear your numbers, and I'm like, that's insane. Because I mean, we had the money to cover it, but like to me, I was like, I'm drowning. And
then what was May?
So May was still negative, but a little less, and then June we hit profit. So then from June to the rest of the year, we were either break even or slightly profitable.
And then
2019.
in April, when you lost 16.5, did you see the path to profitability? You were kind of like, oh shit, what do I do?
Well, we stopped the bleeding, so we had to let a couple team members go, and I just stopped the bleeding.
Did you stop the bleeding because you knew that was the right thing, or did you stop the bleeding because you had to?
I had to. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, if I kept paying what I was paying, we were just going to stay in that path. I had to get rid of the expenses because I did not foresee I did not foresee the sales coming in to cover up the loss. And so we got rid of and I love those people to death if they ever listen to this. But we let go 2 employees that helped me bring $7,000 right there. That cut $7,000 off of my expenses a month, and then we were able to make more money and start recovering.
Yeah, so that's like I said. That to me is. You just have to make a decision personally of, do you want to bring somebody on that they leave you? I mean, are there better non-competes? I'm sure there are.
Yeah,
are there other ways of maybe, listen, I got people upstairs that would never leave because they're just like, I don't want to own my own business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You just got to find them. It's just, I think, a game. Because I know there's 2 people that work for me right now that, they would never, just doesn't matter what the offer is. Like William's been with me for 5 years. Anybody could go offer him any amount of money right now. No, I'm with Jake. I'm going with Jake because he's kind of been on that ride with me for 5 years now. And so I know if somebody could offer him, $1 million a year, and well, maybe for that to go, but maybe for that to be different. Maybe there's a number, but so it's just finding that loyalty too.
Loyalty is, some people would say you weren't loyal to those people who helped you make money and then you fired them.
True.
I don't think
true.
I don't think that's a lack of loyalty. I think people should be allowed to, leave. But you got to decide for yourself what's more stressful to you. What's more important to you? The joy of making $100,000 a month, or you find saying, Paul, I just want to make $50,000 a month of positive cash flow, and it's just me.
That's kind of where I'm. That's
Can you handle $50,000 a month in positive cash flow
at 250 members? Yeah.
But how much more work do you have to do?
For 250 members, none.
Okay, I think we're finding our answer here then.
Yeah, it's just going to take the time to get there, because that takes time.
What's the time?
Well, let's just see if I invest. Let's say I invested the number I had in my mind.
I'm a little confused
was
here.
5,000.
I got to interrupt. If you knew that you invested $6,000, you get that $6,000 back every single month. Why would you ever not just do that forever?
That's why I brought up. Maybe there's something he's not into it or something. He's
and I bet you Seth wouldn't have asked this question
because it's not as simple as put in 6,000 and get 6,000.
You made it sound that simple.
It's as simple as then you put in 6,000, you get whatever. We'll say X amount of webinar attendee or registrations, and you got X amount actually show up. Then you're going to close X amount, and then you got to call all these people 12 times. You got to email them. You got to text message them.
I heard was I invested 6,000. I got it back in the first month. That's all I heard.
Yeah, but
and if you have a goal, it should be
So you put in the sweat equity, and you can.
Get I asked you how much work did you do? You said none.
Say that again?
I asked you how much work did you do to get that. You said none.
Okay, so I misunderstood the question. So there is a lot of sweat equity goes into that, and the team as well doing what they need to do as well. But so there is sweat equity, but it still sounds like it's a little bit easier than real estate, finding the property, keeping learning some of the things I need to learn.
Ease is about what you enjoy doing.
Okay.
If you enjoy doing it, it's not hard work.
Fair enough.
Right?
Yeah, I agree.
Do your teammates, do your employees get spiffs for helping you?
Commission?
Yep. Are they ongoing or
they get residual?
Oh,
as long as their member stays, they get paid.
I like that.
So
how much is that? So it doesn't really. So you have extra cost. So what's that extra cost?
So 10% for a couple of them and 15% for the others. And then on coaching, it's only 10%. So if they sell the $2,000 a month, they only get 10% of that. But they still get 10% residual. It's $197 residual to them
every single month.
Every single month.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Yeah.
So it's not, my question. The reason I asked that question is, is his compensation structure in line with what he's trying to do? Yes, because he's trying to grow. Maybe I'm missing something too, because I'm looking at going, I don't know where the issue is here.
I don't know if the word's the issue. I think I
don't know why at the end of the year you're not going to be making $70,000 a month.
Yeah, I think we will. This because the first year, so this is essentially 14 months since I launched the training program.
Yeah,
and we've done. I'm very happy with it. We recovered, got to a profit margin, and so now it's just a matter of doing this podcast and hanging out with people and calling people, doing webinars. But yeah, so we actually had yesterday somebody who was in my program for 13 months. They're in the program for 13 months, and then they came up to the coaching bracket. So they literally sat at the 197 for 13 months and then came over and
How afraid are you to spend the money?
I think because I just recovered, like I literally, we're talking like January. I was like, hey, there's predictable profit in February. Whoa, looks like there's predictable profit. Let's try to do it again in March. And so, yeah, a little bit hesitant because now we finally got a cushion.
Interesting. All right. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pay you $20,000 and I'm going to get a piece of your business for the rest of the time.
I think you can do more than that.
Is this a Shark Tank moment?
I mean, listen, if he's afraid to spend the money, let's figure it out so we can get to the point where he's at $70,000 a month and I'm making money off another venture.
I've had this conversation with him about something I wanted to start, so I'm interested to hear what you're talking about.
I mean, literally, I'm just sitting there saying, like, listen, if your number, and we have to do some due diligence, but if your numbers are accurate, then let's talk. I got the cash. Let's do this. We like Jacob. Jacob likes us. You want to talk about some mutual beneficial? Like I can help you with the real estate down the road. You can help us with the Facebook and all that stuff as a partnership and an exchange. We put some money in your business and see what happens.
Do you believe that down the road talk?
Oh, down the road talk.
I'm asking him.
But what was it about? Based on
You said down the road you could help each other.
Well, I meant in the sense of if he wants to buy real estate.
That's what I mean. I'm asking if
Yeah,
he
he's
believes
definitely
that
got to. Yeah, definitely. I definitely believe that.
That was one of our first conversations.
Yeah.
Is why would you? He hired me to do something. I was like, why hire me? I was like, why? Yeah, I don't understand. And he's like, well, down the road you might have some deal. And I'm like, what is this guy talking about? And then sure enough, a couple years later, I can certainly envision a down the road where I know some guy who's got getting rid of some multi-unit. And here, I got a guy named Paul going to want to buy it. So
I like charging people for my time, but at the same point, it's people I'm close to. It's hard. Like the other day, an investor of mine who's a doctor was going through an issue with one of his building, and he's like, Paul, I need your help. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to help you do this. And he's like, well, why? I'm like, well, because when I have an apartment building that needs, a $500,000 check, I'm going to call you and you're going to do it. You know what I mean? Because he's already made a lot of money with us, in real estate. He's like, oh, okay. And I'm going to make fees off of him. And that $500,000 check he gives me, I'm probably going to make $40,000 a year off of. You know what I mean? So I look at that as all right, I'm just investing my time there. And plus, what's it going to take? I'm going to have 3 phone calls with a guy. Give me a break. What am I going to charge?
I think I just realized this is the forward thinking that I probably didn't have until I met you.
Maybe.
It
could be foolish too.
Yeah.
I like the fact that I think Jacob does a really good job of promoting himself in a non-cheesy way. Right, Don? Yeah, Jacob does a really good job of really promoting himself in a way that's not cheesy, not like...
overly salesy?
Yeah, it's not at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
Zero. It was funny when he says, I'm good at sales. I'm like, yeah, of course you're good at sales because I never think I'm getting sold. I called him like, hey, Jacob, can I give you $20,000? You give me a year of your time. He's like, cool. And then literally 3 hours later, we wired him the money. Like, okay, we're doing this, kind of thing. So I only say it from the standpoint of he has a problem. It's not really a problem. It's a hesitation. Mm-hmm. We believe in him. Let's figure it out. And if it doesn't work, we'll figure something out. It's just these things that go, hey, if you really believe you can invest $6,000 and your hesitation is just, I'm a little gun shy, which I understand completely because when, if you try to get me to buy a piece of real estate after I have to lose $80,000 a month, I still would have bought it. Let me give it another analogy. Some other analogy. It would have been hard for me going, oh, well, I just came off of $80,000 a month. Let me recoup some of my losses, here kind of thing. But yeah, let's talk. Is this the first deal we're ever going to do over the air potentially?
First actual
deal.
Look
at Tim's got the touchdown.
It's the deal of the year, not deal of the week.
Deal of the week. Like I said, when it comes to Jacob and Facebook, I mean, when he's flossing on Facebook, I mean, how incredible is it? Literally, he knows, I'm going to go here. And me, I just go on my Facebook, I go refresh. I go, oh, okay, there's the cost. Refresh. Yeah. That's what I do, literally. Yeah. So anyways, getting to... I used to think making the most amount of money was the most important thing. And then you realize, well, it's not really, but $50,000 a month is a huge amount of money in positive cash. $70,000 a month. Yeah. I mean, if you're living very comfortably off that, which I don't even know how much the money is. Like I haven't asked him yet. And I won't ask him, it's personal, but if he says I live very comfortably off that, I can probably guess what it is. But either way, just take all your other money and invest it towards yourself. I don't understand. Like, it doesn't even make sense to me. Just do it.
Well, sometimes you just need someone from the outside looking in to kind of guide you and remind you what's even there.
A lot of times that's the case. And that's a lot of times the case.
That's.
It's it's a good time. All right, what other questions you got, Jacob?
Yeah, let me throw one more at you.
Let's hear it.
So your best friend Grant Cardone, he preaches,
Preaches. Please listen. I'm offended as a non-believer that you'd say preach about Grant Cardone.
He doesn't involve. Does he bring in religion into his?
No.
No. So he teaches, says, how does he word it? I want to word it the right way he words it. He
Educates.
Educates.
He says, rent where you live, own where you rent. And so right now we rent. We rented in the same home. I live in my dream home, not nearly the size of your home.
Say that again. Rent.
Rent where you live, own where you rent. So rent where you live, and then own the properties that you rent to other people, so they can pay for your rent. And so right now, and we've, Lauren and I.
You know what that sounds like? A really cute slogan to say to get people to go, oh, that's really impressive. It's like he's basically. By the way, I don't think that owning is the best thing in the world. I don't think it's like, oh, you must own your home. But what's his reasoning?
But that's essentially it. Then use your rental properties to pay where you live, and that way you're not stuck. You can live in the nice home, and if you need to move or want to move, you can. That way you can live in a little higher.
That sounds zero having to do with financial. It's all. Go ahead, Tim.
He rents from properties he owns, though. I will say that.
Yeah, he does that as well. So
and that to me is a little shady. So what he's doing these deals, and he's giving himself a deal in it, so he lives for free essentially.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, that's not. I mean, listen, I've always said renting isn't as bad as people make it out to be, and homeownership isn't as great as people make it out to be. But if you want to own a home and you plan on staying somewhere for a long period of time, owning a home can be very financially beneficial. Even having it just be worth what it's worth 30 years later, you paid it off, you'll get a 7 or 8% return on your money.
Yeah.
With pretty much a guarantee, because you're just living, you're going to be paying somewhere. Might as well be there.
Yeah.
So what's your question to me?
Well, I mean, the only reason I'm looking at it is,
is Grant Cardone stupid? Yes, that's the answer.
I fully subscribe to happy wife, happy life. That's, a mantra I live by. We got two beautiful baby girls now, and my wife has dropped the hint that she would like to live in a home that's like not rented.
What are the benefits of that?
For her, I see no benefits at all.
Zero?
Well, I mean, happy wife, happy life. That's the benefit to me.
Okay, forget about that. What's
Yeah.
the other benefits of owning your own home?
I'm asking you because I don't, other than me, I genuinely don't know.
If you want to remodel a bathroom, how you doing that?
I mean, I just live in a beautiful rental home. It doesn't need to be remodeled.
True.
I live in a home that looks like your office. Like it's just nice. But over the last 3 years, by the time we're done with our rental agreement, I will have spent or whatever, thrown away $72,000 in rent over the course of the last 3 years. So that's kind of sickening. But I've lived in a beautiful home, granted everything, just like everything in your stuff, by the way, I noticed. But yeah, so I mean, I like where we are. So I'm looking at, okay, well now that the numbers look good, and of course the bank is begging me to take out any amount of money, because they see the numbers.
What do you want to spend on a house if you were to buy one?
I wouldn't even. We're just throwing darts at the wall or dirt at the wall to see what sticks. We don't even know. Like my wife makes up, 250. I'm like, okay, we can just go do that. And I'm like, okay, 500.
500 what?
1,000. We're just making up numbers.
Yeah.
And so
500,000 though. If you put $100,000 down, your mortgage payment would be
$3,100.
$2,000 plus tax and insurance.
Okay, but that's what we're paying right now, anyways.
Well, plus tax and insurance, plus maintenance. That's the downside of owning. People say, "Oh, my rent, my mortgage are the same thing." Well, no, you have maintenance, snow plowing, all these things that are extra. So, but the thing about homeownership is, you can build the homeownership. If you plan on being someplace for a very, very long period of time, at some point the home is paid off and you don't have that mortgage payment anymore.
Okay.
Rent, you'll always have that payment and it'll always go up. On a mortgage, your payment's always the same except for taxes and insurance. Those will go up over time.
Okay.
Other than that, your principal interest is always the same. So as your income goes up and up and up, what's happening to your mortgage? It stays the same.
Yeah.
You're done. It's over. You can do things to your house, remodel, do whatever you want. If you want to put, you didn't even see the inside of my house. I just remodeled. It's like if I rented that place.
I didn't need to get past the car. That's not enough.
Say it again, Jacob.
It's on my Instagram in case anybody wants to see.
All right.
At Chaplain Salem, by the way, if you want to find me on any social media.
Very
at Chaplain
good.
Salem.
At Chaplain. You chaplain?
Well, I mean, I'm an ordained whatever pastor, so. But yeah, every ad
He
tag.
has exorcised the demons.
I got ordained online, so it's really.
Actually, I did too. So I was being ordained through the Nazarene denomination, and when we resigned, my wife and I were pastoring a church for about 13 months.
What's that like?
We resigned after 13 months, so.
Not good?
I don't want to.
Difficult.
It just wasn't my calling. It wasn't where, she's, we were young then. I'm still young now. And we were in a retirement community. There was about 300 members, we'll say, I don't know, 150, 170 active, whatever, every Sunday. And it just wasn't a good fit. I like preaching. I still travel and preach. I still have a lot of that. It's just pastoring and preaching are two different things.
Didn't know.
pastoring.
You got to drum up money for the organization, or
No, pastoring is where we sit and have conversation and counsel and get to know each other, and I'm not about that life. I'm kind of like, he cheated on you. I'm so sorry. The Bible says forgive him, but you can forget him. I get it. So the choice is yours. Good talk. That's
Cut off his dick.
yeah. I'm just that guy. I'm that black
Yeah.
and white, and it's pastoring. You need to feel their pain, and I kind of like. I'm really, really sorry for you, but I'm not feeling your pain. I'm sorry. This is A, B, and C. And I mean, Paul's the same way. Paul just laid out, Jake, listen, you could do this, or this, but why wouldn't you just take your money and invest it back in your business? I don't even know. I'd actually buy into your business right now because that just seems like such a no-brainer, Jake. Why don't you see it? And that's how I was as a pastor. I was like, well, he did it one time. It was a mistake. He's sorry. You said to death do his part, right? So he just,
I would have asked for a picture of the girl first. Like, listen,
How hot is she?
Let me see how hot she was. Oh, she wasn't worth it. Yeah, you should leave him. Like, she's a 9. This guy's a 6 at best. I kind of don't blame him.
what are you, Paul? What number are you?
With or without money.
yeah, wait. Yeah.
there are different scales. Have you guys seen that whole hot chick thing? And then he has the
No.
Oh,
You haven't
my
seen
God. When we're done with the podcast, it's a hot chick matrix, and then he has one for men, and it's phenomenal. I mean, this guy presents it so well, and it's just great. But either way,
yeah, it's like the crazy hot matrix for
Yes.
women.
yeah, he's like unicorn. He's like, that's a dude. He's like, run away. That's a dude.
All right. Wow. Well, that's a lot to talk about.
What else you got, Jacob? Anything?
I mean, this has been good. This has been a lot of fun for me, given,
I'm glad you're up to positive cash flow 20,000. I mean, that's great. It's just I hope it gets to listen. The Atomic Habits book we talked about last week talks about not having. I still believe in goals because I've seen you implement. So you got to get your goal. Like, listen, where would I feel comfortable where I could enjoy my business, make a lot of money, and go do the other things I want to do, like invest. Figure out what that number is. And then from there, just work backwards.
Yeah.
Paul, I think
we have it. Go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, I was listening to that
what's
podcast.
the number?
I was listening to that podcast. I know where you're going with this. I honestly think that you should rephrase. I don't think you're all about goals. You're about like the steps to a goal.
You're right, but I still believe in Atomic Habits. He says, forget about the goal.
Yeah, I know you said you weren't
And
like.
I don't buy into that.
But remember, there were the days where I didn't feel like I should set goals because I saw so many people that would just set a goal and have no clear intention about getting it, like myself still. So like, well, if I can just avoid setting the goal and just work every day, for you, it's really the.
Here's my analogy.
Go ahead.
If you want to go to the grocery store, you don't leave your house and just go, where am I going to go? Like, that's the way I look at it. Yes, I want to go to the grocery store. Now I know I need to get in my car. I need to start the car. I need to back out of my driveway. I need to go turn right. I'm actually doing it now. You're like, turn left in the street, then turn right on. That's what I'm looking at it as. I want to get to the grocery store. That is my end result. From here, it doesn't matter. I still get out of my driveway.
How many people, I guess the point is, now that you've educated me on that, is how many people I say, well, the goal is this, and I think of little Paul on my shoulder. It's always a little Paul.
It is a little Paul.
Sorry
It's a
about
little
that.
emasculating.
Yeah, but like I always think of you as like, right, you'd be saying, well, how?
You'd be saying?
Because some people are very content with just saying, oh, I have a goal.
And by the way, I hear that all the time. People say like, I want to get to this. I'm like, well, how are you going to do that? Well, it's just like, it's the whole, the secret, I just think at the university. No, it's just, I still believe, like in Atomic Habits, I believe it was Atomic Habits. He says, don't even have goals. I'm like, well, I kind of like the idea of thinking about what is that number? You know what I mean? What is that number? What is the number for you?
So if we hit that 250 and I could then eliminate a few of the 11 coaching accounts, we would still hit the same. The number still is 50 grand. I want to make 50 grand residual.
Positive cash flow.
And not have to talk to
Positive
people
cash
all
flow
day, every
or
day.
revenue?
Revenue, gross revenue.
Okay, what's the positive cash flow number? Because right now you're doing 20.
Right. So so right now we're bringing in, about 45,000 a month.
Yeah, but net at the bottom of the day is 20.
Right.
So what
if our expenses remain the same and we drop a few of our 1997 a month accounts and we get up to 250, we're essentially making 5,000 more a month for me to do 4 events a year and 12
So you're going to go
calls.
from 20 to 25?
Say that again?
You're going to go from 20,000 positive cash flow to 25,000?
But then I don't have to do anything.
No work.
So my question is, then is there a reason why you don't want 500 clients?
I do. I'm looking at how long it took us to get where we are.
Well,
So,
FYI, your path could have been wrong to start.
right.
All
We've
along
already
our-
course corrected a lot.
Right, exactly. So in the
Yeah.
last 15 years, I go, man, I wish I knew 15 years ago what I knew even 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at saying, figure out the exact number you sit there and say, I think this is attainable. And if I do this, I can make X amount of dollars a month. And from that standpoint, we'd still live very comfortably. Maybe instead of, I'm assuming it's 100, whatever the number is. Let's say it's 100 grand a year you pay yourself now. I'll pay myself 200, but I'll also have $40,000 a month in extra cash flow that I can go invest.
Yeah.
And if you invest $40,000 a month in extra cash flow, let me do the math here real quick.
While he's typing, by the way, I do know some people that think that like investing that $5,000 or $6,000 in your IRA is a difficult process, but have you thought that?
No. I mean,
Do you ever want to retire?
I don't know. Probably not.
Or have the money to do nothing?
Yeah, I want to have
Maybe.
the ability to make that decision.
But some people still don't know that you just like literally sign up for Fidelity and then just send them a check and then you can just invest it in like some
Can I
sort
ask you a
of
question?
fund.
What if I told you you could have $100 million when you're 60?
Would you like that?
At $40,000 a month into investments in real estate, you could have $100 million when you're 60. $106 million to be exact.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. And it doesn't seem, that number just seems unfathomable, right? It's like $100 million from $40,000 a month. That's what we're talking about here. Maybe you say to me, Paul, I don't need that. Great. Let's make it $10,000 a month. You'll still have $25 million. It's still an F load of money.
Yeah.
As long as you're buying properties the right way and you can grow that and scale that, you will still be able to. I mean, when you're 60 to have $25 million, that's like probably like $10 million today.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Well, the $5,000 a year will get him at least $2 million already, right? If he starts now.
For 30 years.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the right number. Assuming
35 years.
Well, he's still 29, so it's 60. It's 30 years.
Oh, okay. I was saying 65, but okay.
Okay, let's do 65.
Times just $5,000. Throw in his wife's money too. Call it 12.
No, it's about $1 million. $1.2 million.
Yeah.
$1.2 million.
But if you started when you're 18, it's like $8 million.
Oh, it's insane. So I'm sitting there saying, like, you right now just taking your $10,000 a month and doing that, you'd have $25 million. But I'm looking at going, get the extra cushion. Maybe retire. Maybe not retire. Maybe you go. Imagine if you're 50 and you had $10 million in the bank. Imagine all the pasturing and pasteurizing or whatever it's called you could do.
Preaching, yeah. That's exactly what I would do too.
Pasteurizing. I did that for you.
No,
It's a chemical phrase.
Yeah, that's exactly what I
That's
would
the
do.
freedom we
Yeah.
talk about. The security of like saying, I don't need $100 million, Paul. Great. I don't need $1 billion. Great.
I think it took 2018 was the best year we ever had. We brought in a lot of money and I earned it. But I think it was bringing in that cash flow where I realized, wow, we really don't need that cash flow to be happy. And that's kind of where, I just got to kind of settle into that for a little bit. And of course, having 106 million when I'm 60 sounds amazing. Because the one thing I would like to do, I don't care to be rich and famous either. I just, want the revenue. So that way when I pass away, there's something there left for my kids.
That's a lot to be left for your kids.
Yeah. That should, generational wealth. So,
But I really think you're going to live to 100. So you need to plan for that.
I'm hoping I don't. So
You're hoping you don't live to 100?
I mean, when I was growing up, when I was younger, I used to say, Jesus lived till he was 33. So, if I make it that long, that's good. But as I'm getting closer to 33, I'm retracting that statement a little bit. But
should I get into this conversation?
I don't think so. You just let him go.
Is Tim
all right.
laughing by chance? Or the camera's in the way? He's not. He's just smirking. He's like, okay, mental note, Sunday, pray for Paul. Okay,
yeah,
sounds good.
absolutely. Yeah.
Follow Jacob online. Jake, tell them how they follow you again one more time.
So at Chaplain Salem on any platform. You can even find me on TikTok.
Wow, what are you doing on that?
I'm just trying to hang out, make friends,
Is TikTok like the new Vine? Is that what it is?
TikTok is definitely going. I think if anything could take out Facebook, it's going to be TikTok, because that's where the youngest generation is hanging out and coming up, and that's where they're spending all of their time. 1.5 billion downloads, and your average age demographic there is 16 to 25. We'll say right now.
So Facebook going to buying them and merging them into Instagram.
I really think that's going to happen. Yeah, either Facebook's going to buy them, or I think TikTok in the next 10 years actually has a chance to compete. Actually, let's say 20 years, because that's when boomers are going to start fading out. And so
boomers
are who are on Facebook, right? And so when they start...
I remember when Facebook was all kids, and now it's all boomers.
Yeah, so that's...
Sharon Kirchanen.
Follow Sharon Kirchanen for all your political updates. Easymetrics. What is the website?
easymetrics.com. That's the letter E, letter Z, metrics.com.
Great site.
And thank you.
It's a really... That's what I said. It's a great name.
Yeah. As always, follow the Learn From Us podcast with Seth and Paul. We've never said it that way, really. But you can see Paul on Instagram, at Paul _.
Can we see how the
Gabriel.
market did today?
Yeah, Paul, we got to have that podcast about the markets. baby.
S&P 500 is down 2.8% today. We got the free lunch. Free lunch at Crossroads Group, 86.86. Today the Fed cut their rates, and it's a glorious day in the stock market.
Paul loves when the world's falling apart.
Yeah, it's not there yet.
We'll get there. Jacob, thanks again. We have to get an update in a few months on how you're doing, how the new partnership with Paul, the Shark Tank, happened. I don't know if it was agreed to. But,
Well, we'll see what happens. Listen, we'll talk.
I think he needs a few more zeros.
I'm not giving $200,000. I'm not giving $2 million.
a few is 3.
I'm not giving $20 million.
All right. Yeah. So
if you had enough zeros, we can buy a house in Ohio. We'll be right in this office.
Yeah, that'd be nice. It's beautiful here. Look
Probably a lot cheaper here.
That's true.
All right, subscribe
He's in
here.
Chicago. The weather's not better
No,
in Chicago.
it's a little more fun.
Why'd you pick Chicago? Is your wife from there?
She's from the New Lenox area, so yes, happy wife, happy life.
Oh,
And
so
that's
you have
where-
the family support system, all that stuff.
Well, that's the perceived value. Yes.
Do you know any of these buttons?
just off. I
You're
was ready to
literally the
wrap.
slowest person. I bet you everybody in this podcast right now listening goes, did it end? Did it end?
Okay.
Yeah, that was the original reasoning, but Lauren,
Like, subscribe,
Right
go on
here.
YouTube and watch this because we're way better looking than we sound, right?
I think I am.
We're gonna shave Seth's beard on the podcast next time for the coronavirus. In order to fight the coronavirus, we're gonna shave Seth's beard.
And stay tuned for our 10,000 followers, where Paul and I are going to get and learn from us wrestling singlets and go mano y mano, Juani Juan.
wait, is that a real commitment? Because I can probably help with that. I got 1 million followers, so
Wrestling?
yeah. Are you guys going to do that if we get 10,000 subscribers?
Listen, the other day when we were here, like 2 weeks ago, we started to do a little. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get myself smashed. I mean, it's
You
terrible.
kind of just bent over a little bit, and then that's where it ended. So, all right. Listen, we could bullshit all day. Jacob, thanks for being on the show. I'm excited to hear what you guys do together, and follow Paul and I on the podcast. We got to get Andrew on for more Deals of the Weeks. And coming soon, folks, we bought the Jamboard, so Paul is going to go over real numbers right in your face on an enormous iPad. It's bigger than my car, and it's going to look incredible, and you're going to learn more about real estate and get ready for this huge downturn, Paul. It's going to happen.
Maybe.
When it happens, we're all going to buy the world up. Right, Jacob?
Yes,
You're ready
sir.
for it. So, all right, learn from us. Thanks, guys.
Love you, Seth.